Hi everybody, my name's Sherry and today I'm going to talk about the Likert scale. So this is something that's been brought up a lot in the forums over the last week or two and mentioned as a good option when we are conducting surveys. So I wanted to find out a little bit more about it and decided to do this as my self-made assignment that I've created. So what I found out is that the Likert scale was named after its founder, Rensis Likert. He is a psychologist. He actually developed the Likert scale in his PhD thesis in 1932. So he used it to identify the extent of a person's beliefs, attitudes, and feelings towards international affairs. The traditional Likert scale asks people the extent to which they agree or disagree with the statement on a 5-point scale. The scale ranges from strongly agree to strongly disagree using a 5-point scale, which allowed him to rank people's attitudes with fewer questions and greater exactness. Although there's been controversy and people have argued different aspects of it, but it is still considered the best and most used scale. It's best for measuring the level of agreement or disagreement about a topic, and that's why it's considered a bipolar scaling method, measuring the positive and negative responses. Sometimes people will refer to a Likert scale versus a Likert item. A Likert scale would refer to the table as a whole, and a Likert item would be a specific item on that scale. So 5-point scales are the most common, but there are many other different points. There's 7-point, 9-point. There's quite a range of different ones. If you're using a 5-point scale, this is one of the verbiage you might use: strongly agree, agree, undecided or neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree. And here would be a visual. You want to think of this as being balanced. So the neutral's in the middle, and you want to make sure that you have an even amount of disagree statements on the right side, an even amount of agree statements on the left side. And so this makes it a balanced scale. Remember, when people are taking these types of surveys, that they will give you a better answer, a more true statement, if they are conducted anonymously. So keep that in mind when you decide how you're going to administer your survey. The questions that you ask on the survey are also extremely important. You want to make sure that they are direct. Make sure that they relate to your evaluation objectives. They're very specific. Do not use compound questions. For example, you would not say, "Do you like cats and dogs?" You would want to separate those. Do you like cats? Agree, disagree. Do you like dogs? Agree, disagree, so that your information that you gather is more accurate. Do not ask any leading questions with a question that might show your bias. For example, "You do like cats, don't you?" Another thing is to make sure you don't use double negatives. We've all seen those questions on a test and you have to read it out loud and figure out what it's really asking. So that can also include words like not unnecessary. You would want to state the question necessary. Would not want to state not inappropriate. You would want to say appropriate. Not impossible, say impossible. Not illegal, state it in a way it would be legal, blah, blah, blah. Not disabled, you would want to use the word able. So one of those things, once you hear that, you're like, oh, that makes sense. But sometimes just thinking about that having it being mentioned will help. Also, be careful using jargon or technical terms. If someone doesn't understand the question completely, they may not answer it honestly or correctly. So you want to make sure and avoid or explain. So keeping those questions very to the point and simple, direct that's going to be crucial in getting the results that you want, your data, so it's as accurate as possible. All right, there's many surveys that you can use online. Google Forms has become very common. We can all make a free account and they organize the information. It's real easy to set up. There's also SurveyMonkey, Poll Everywhere. You can, of course, also make a handwritten Likert scale questionnaire. I think we've all taken these questionnaires before, so we're real familiar with them. But you don't just have to do it online, you could also do it with paper. Now, when you do the results, each answer is going to get a value. You're going to get the central tendency of the results using the median or mode. You can actually Do this by each question, create your data, or you could group questions together that are similar. That's something that you're going to have to decide as you create your questions. Using a pre-test and a post-test is a great way to find the difference between the change from before and after. There are some free Likert templates that can be found at templatelab.com/LikertScale. I've got the link there for you, or you can Google that and I'm sure you'll find it. But that gives you some other examples besides just the 5-point, and also gives you some other statements that you could use if you're looking for something with a little different than just a typical 5-point. All right, here's my resources, and I hope this helped you think about the LikertScale a little more, and I will see you in the forums.